Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, I'm trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to B1AG. I'm John Henry Harris, and we also have Farmer Brown, the MC. Today, we're going to talk about a great story from NBA star, future Hall of Famer Steph Curry and his wife Ayesha. Now, they found a very creative way to not only engage with underserved students and children, but also to promote healthy food options, education, reading, as well as providing meals for underserved communities. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Steph and Ayesha Curry, they get creative to feed, teach, and engage children. Now, as you know, here at B1AG, this is really, as far as engaging children, educating them, and especially about agriculture and food, this is the underlying linchpin in why we do what we do. You know, we want to really get them educated about the foods that they eat, let them know they can grow it themselves, all the opportunities that are available in agriculture when you're talking about entrepreneurship as well as education. But Steph and Ayesha Curry, they're actually doing something great, and we're going to highlight that today. So, Farmer Brown, what do you have to say about this, Steph and Ayesha Curry?
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well. We've had a very interesting week this last week. We know that the person occupying the White House said at least 80 to 100 million people in North America need to go set up an appointment with Dr. Jabinsky. And, you know, there's a lot of negative energy going on right now. There's a lot of fear. Some of the fear is rational and some of it is irrational. But when we see stories like this gives me hope. You know, this makes me optimistic. We know that athletes, especially when we think about our young children, this is who influenced them. When we think about parents, a lot of people within our age group, a lot of times we look at athletes and entertainers, unfortunately, as icons, as people that, you know, set the tone, set the trends of, you know, the type of activities we get involved in. And so to see this brother and his sister get involved in creating a food truck that, you know, delivers books, teaching kids, engaging the community, I think this is a beautiful story. And not only a story, but I think this is a great model to dig a little deeper into as we try to figure out some different ways to address the events that we see unfolding before our eyes.
Now, one of the most impacted segments of our society that has, you know, since the pandemic has been our children. You know, they've been out of school, they've been away from their friends, they've been away from doing just normal kid activities. You know, we've all been restricted from social activities in a lot of ways. However, Steph and Ayesha Curry found a very creative way to deal with this. And I'd like to show you with this video.
We are here for the Workday Charity Classic. All of this to support Eat, Learn, Play, a foundation that you started to help unlock the potential of every child. And I know that you both are really personally involved. You go out and work in the community. From what you've seen, pre and post pandemic, how is it taking a toll on kids out there, taking a toll on their development?
I mean, the pillars that we've identified in our foundation to create that well-rounded experience, and like you said, unlock the potential for them. The pandemic only increased that need exponentially, and it's sad to think about knowing how many meals we've been able to distribute since April of 2020. Had we not been capable of springing into action and aligning with the partners that we did, and that we're over 17 million meals to date. It's alarming to think about, but it's also awesome to know that we've figured out a way to be efficient and to support the community that needs it, and opportunities like this to continue to raise awareness and raise money and stay on that mission is important, because the pandemic those effects are going to continue to last for a while, and so we're trying to do our part.
Yeah, and a bigger effect that maybe isn't in the forefront of people's minds now as we're entering this new school year is literacy. So this is a new pillar that we're unlocking when it comes to our Learn pillar, and especially in the Oakland community, 19% of Black students and 24% of Latinx students are reading at grade level, and that's it. And so for us, going with that gap year, I'll call it, that we all had, making sure that the kids are, building upon those literacy skills, and we're increasing the statistics and seeing change for these kids, I think is one of the most important things right now.
So this bus will serve underserved children and families. There's a food pantry on one side. There's a library on the other side. There are some basketball hoops. When this hits the streets of Oakland, what impact do you want this to have?
I want excitement.
Exactly.
I want to bring about excitement in the kids when it comes to reading. And when we launched a few days ago, I think we saw firsthand how this model can work, because they ran up to the bus, and I have little ones. So as a mom, I was like, oh, they're going to go straight for the basketball hoop, which is fine. But they went straight for the books, and they were so excited to receive these tangible items. And sometimes it's really just about getting the resources in the hands of the kids. And so for me, I'm really excited about that. And then this bus is going to give us the opportunity to provide over 500,000 pounds of produce a year into the community. So I'm very excited.
There are some warriors here.
Blueprint.
Yes, now they're talking about over 500,000 pounds of produce being brought into underserved communities to give to kids.
That's just Oakland.
That's just in Oakland. Now, since they started in April 2020, they've given out 17 million meals. Now, if you ain't talking about feeding the block, that's feeding the block.
Oh, the dope boys go crazy. When you think about influencers, and so why does that work? Making it practical for this B1AG conversation. He's somebody that obviously that people know. People know him from playing ball. And so that's his social credibility. When we think about every community around North America, especially in the B1 communities, there are people that people look up to. If this bruh shows up and he's doing something cool, I'm there. If this sister shows up, she might have the hair shop, but hey, she's got X amount of hours. They got this cool bus that a group of caring community members, practice cooperative economics and went in on. I'm showing up, and you're able to distribute these meals. 500,000 pounds isn't a short order, and guess what? Somebody has to grow that. Here at B1AG, our focus is around agriculture. When we try to think about ways, how can we make it rain on our Black producers? We know we have all the reason in the world to really focus on this. Like I said, there's a lot of changes happening. I think we got 75 days. So there's going to be a lot of food security issues on top of, if there's these issues going on with school where a lot of students might be stuck at home. We did a report a few days ago where a lot of the students at the schools around the country aren't able to get their lunch meals just because the wholesalers, they don't have the capacity to distribute it to the schools. And so a lot of parents are being forced to either have to prepare the lunch at home or the kids don't eat. And so when we think about, getting codified, what are some very specific action items? We can say, yeah, we want to feed the hungry and leave it at that and then go back to our normal lives. Or we can say feed the kids who need food in these specific areas. If we know Oakland, he served 500,000 pounds in Oakland. Well, think about it. You got Chicago, you got New York, you got Florida, you got Houston, you got the Carolinas, you got the Midwest. And so we have locations where we know the melanated family is. One of the statistics we keep stressing, and I think Brad told me this earlier, melanated families are 4 times more likely to be in a food desert. Why does this happen? Because only 8% of what we classify as Black Americans live within a zip code with the grocery store. Versus if you want to put in a perspective, 31% of white Americans live around a grocery store. This is why we're 4 times more likely to go hungry. So once again, I think the dope thing about this bus is it's mobile. I mean, how many of us ride past, wherever we're at in North America, we ride past somewhere where there's these broken down vehicles. There's these broken down buses. Many of, I know a couple brothers myself that got CDLs. And so they're qualified to drive these buses. And so obviously everybody ain't got Steph Curry money. He did mention that he works with some partners. These partners do exist, but I've been on this Tariq Nasheed thing. I was amazed at what he did in galvanizing the melanated community to put $1 million in a month to start a museum. And so how dope would it be if we can codify around this is literally a mobile learning unit. They were talking about books. And so I think about all the authors. I got a couple books of my own I would love to have featured on a mobile unit like this. So think about the authors, medicines, right? Vitamins. Think about the herbalists. Think about the value-added product creators. Think about the artists, right? We have artists within all these communities that could design these buses. Let's get real specific. So right now in North America, there's 32,000. I'm going to give you, there's 32,287 food truck businesses as of 2021, 32,287. That is a 12% rise from 2020, right? This is just food trucks. These are people focused around food. And so once again, taking this model that Steph Curry and his wife have put together, okay, now how do we partner these food trucks, get some of these broken down buses? I know we got some mechanics in every hood across America that can, put something together and make it do what it do. And so you match these food trucks with mobile learning units. And so on each of these trucks, so that I know they said they had basketball goals, just cool activities. One of the things we have here at B1AG is virtual learning modules. We know a lot of times, like I said, to engage the kids got to see people that they resonate with. They got to see people that they feel like, okay, you're not here just, trying to get some numbers. You're not here just trying to make yourself look good. Like, no, you got to get people that care. And this is why this has to be done on a communal level. And I just think it's so dope, this model that and I ain't even big on the Warriors, I'll be honest. But this, my respect level for this man went up like 100 notches because this is dope. And I mean, it came at the perfect time. And I hope the melanated family can pick up the code of how important this is and how feasible it is for where we're at.
There's an old saying, about, trying to get Muhammad to the mountain. But in this case, they're bringing the mountain to Muhammad. They're mobilized. They're bringing the help that is needed to the people. And that's what's going to have to happen. We're going to have to bring the educational services to the people where they're at. We're going to have to bring this food, this produce, this healthy food options. We're going to have to bring them to the people in the hood, in these food deserts, if we're going to really feed them. We're going to really engage with them. We need to, if we want them to be more involved in the community, if we want them to really learn, we're going to have to take the resources to them, just take it to them and expose them to it. In my mind, it's priceless. It's priceless what can happen if we can get more people thinking like this, get more of these kinds of buses to deliver food, education, and any other kind of wellness services to the people. You know, let's do it. And again, and for those that can do it, not only is it a charitable service, it also could be an entrepreneurial opportunity as well.
And the dope boys go crazy. So altruism, obviously, in the time we're coming into, and so we know 70% of the melanated community right now isn't too keen on setting up an appointment with Dr. Jabinski. And so whatever side of the fence you are with that, that's still going to affect millions of melanated people across the country. Out of these millions, there's millions of children who are going to be affected by whatever decision on either side that parent makes. And so what this means is, okay, we're going to have a lot of people that's going to need to figure something out about food. And so, but even if you're not wanting to come at it from an altruistic standpoint, you're just trying to look for profit. And so according to Business Insider, and this is just on the food truck, the food truck industry is valued at $856 million. This is in 2015, and it's projected to increase 140 million by 2020. 2020, this is when the world changed. And so you can imagine how that's exponentially gone up the value in a food truck. And it's saying a food truck catering industry can be profitable. What their model represents is not only do we have a food truck, and here at B1AG, we're shamelessly plugging, make sure these food trucks are selling produce, meats grown by melanated farmers, right? Since we know they're not able to get in Kroger, Publix, Sunflower, Trader Joe's, all of these mainstream grocery stores, how can we create the point of sale opportunities for these producers? 500,000 pounds in one city of Oakland. Think about the millions. Think about the millions of pounds that could be produced. And it's not like, you're reaching out to farmers, hey, just grow something and we can sell it where we sell it. No, you can codify around your city, because for them to come up with that 500,000 number, I doubt Steph Curry has just gone and done a lot of research on how much produce. He works with partners. And so this is why at B1AG, we talk about working in cooperatives. And so wherever you're at in this diaspora on Turtle Island, there's a melanated farmer within 50 to 100 miles of you. So they can help you with these logistics, right? And so there's a mathematician somewhere that understands, okay, how many students do we have in our districts that are underserved, right? It's not about helping everybody. You want to get it, what does Nellie Fuller say? You want to help the people that need the most help with the most constructive help. And so we're targeting these areas where we know only 8% of them have access to a grocery store. And so from there, you can get a very concise number of how much produce do we need. 500,000, okay, farmer A, melanated farmer A, how many of these 500,000 pounds that we need, how many pounds of green can you give? 50,000, okay, cool. Mark you for that. This communal economics, the same way Tariq Nasheed did it with the museum, we do this for making sure we're able to pay this farmer up front. Because with Black farmers, a lot of times, they're taking a lot of the risk without any promise of a reward. And that's no way to do business. That's not a sustainable way to do business. One of the reasons is not to say that, there are some parts of the country where people do value the Black farmers, but overall, let's just be honest. Athletes, entertainers get, people that have flashy things get more of the Black dollar, so to speak. And so if you can have some very specific items, very specific numbers for farmers, professionals, mathematicians, financiers involved, and we know we need X amount of produce to get to this specific location. This is where your engineers, this is where your carpenters come in. So, okay, because the bus he has, I imagine they're not just storing the food on there overnight. There's a hub somewhere in Oakland or multiple hubs where he's going to get the food. They had a farmer come in to bring the food, and then they bring it to the hub. It's stored there for X amount of days. They put it on this food. Okay, we're going to make a run to this zip code, this zip code. And so basically what this boils down to is how do we codify this same move wherever we're at? Working with somebody that already has a food truck. We have local chefs that aren't able to get into high-end restaurants. They're not able to get the same opportunities to get their own kitchen. And so this is a way to get these commissary kitchens popping. these pre-prepared meals. So he said they serve 17 million meals. Like you said, feeding the block. And so all of this can be doable. All of this is very doable. And like I said, you brought this up to me today, bro, and I'm just like, wow, like this is literally it. This is what this looks like. And on this truck, okay, we're in a tech age where it's nothing to put a big screen up on this truck, up on this van, up on this bus, and have educational models. Have people like Corey Goo What It Do plan on there doing gardening, having sessions and demos with Ron Finley doing gangster gardening. Have a promo of Let Farmer 73 talking about how to do an apartment garden. Have some of those B1AG interactive education models popping while you're serving these meals that was sourced by melanated farmers. On the other end, you're going to have these books and other products. But it's literally taking the store to the people. And the point that I was making, this is a business. This is every bit of agriculture. You're creating a unique way to get the product to the consumer. We know in the melanated community, we spend more money and burn more gas going to get healthy food. And so what we know about a crisis is whoever can have a solution to a crisis, that becomes profitable. The Rockefellers, Carnegies, Vanderbilts, they realize, okay, we're in a country, this is in the 1920s. We're in a country where people want to get around. How can they get around? I'm going to holler at my boy Ford. He got this vehicle. Okay, this vehicle's cool, but how is this vehicle going to get powered? And so one of these people, the oil barons, came up with, okay, oil. Where do we get this oil? And this is why we end up on all these conflicts. But point being, there was a problem, and they had a solution. We're gonna process this oil into gasoline that fuels these vehicles that Ford came up with. So now people can get, move out and about, and they've literally created $1 trillion business. Applying this same mindset, and I imagine they got a lot of ideas from the melanated people. We know George Washington Carver was a big part of why Ford worked, right? And so if we can refocus a critical mass of us to really get codified around what does this future of food systems look like? What does this future of education look like? Once again, shameless plug, we need to teach our kids how to produce food, produce businesses. And all of this can be done by taking the education to the kids. Just in case you're in a household where you don't want to go meet with Dr. Jabinski. Okay, we can bring it to you. We can manage this where you're socially distanced. This is, have a little truck stand on the van where you can set out chairs. You have mobile classrooms. These are all ideas that, obviously Steph Curry proves that this can be done.
It's a wonderful story. Great. Putting these great ideas into action. And that's what's most important is they put it into action. Because actually this bus that they use, these are things that me and Farmer Brown, we've talked about for years. We've talked about and theorized and say, yeah, it'd be cool if we could do this and that and that. But Steph Curry, even though we weren't privy to talk to him or share these ideas with him, it happened anyway. So here at B1AG, we're going to continue to brainstorm. We're going to continue to find ways to feed the people, educate the people, and just bring an overall better well-being to our communities. And hopefully, that these thoughts and ideas will continue to float around the universe and come into fruition. Because we all got to eat, y'all. We all have to eat. And we can't forget that. And we don't need to be eating Smurf berries or Soylent Green or, whatever else they are trying to force us to ingest. We need to have our great, healthy foods, organic, grown, that we've known. And, not just eating something with 14 syllables in it, something that's hard to pronounce.
And most of us aren't going to be in Congress and be congressional aides and be exempt from meeting with Dr. Jabinski. They're exempt. If you're up there in the upper echelon, you're exempt from these appointments. But saying that to say, we're in some serious time, and there's a 75-day window. We saying that, in 75 days, we're going to get these trucks popping and these vans and education buses popping. No, not at all. But I tend to believe no human being has the power to end the world. People try to destroy, but I believe that there's more power in building. And like I said, it's one thing having ideas, but seeing is believing. This is a model. Even if you're not into agriculture, even if you're not into growing, and you're just somebody around the hood that people respect and look up to. Social acceptance is one of the components of sustainability. It's energy efficient. It doesn't destroy the environment, and it's socially accepted by people. People agree that, yeah, this is something we want. And so once again, when we're thinking about ways to engage the community, because this is an all hands on deck operation, family. This ain't just the scientists and specialists and smart people and academics. This is every component of any hood that we find ourselves in. It's not to say that all melanated people are in hoods, but hey, it don't matter how much money you got. We see that, okay, you could lose your job if there's so many things that's changing before our eyes. I don't want to digress too far away from this wonderful story, but we were talking before we started this podcast. There's been some very awkward conversations going on with loved ones, with family members, and it's very frustrating how this dichotomy, how this wedge has been put not only in the nation but even within our communities. There are some households that are normally loving, but hey, if you didn't have this appointment, then you can't come in this house. Why? Well, why do I have to have this? There's a lot of these negative conversations going on, and negative is going to be negative. And so it's like, once again, here at B1AG, we try to think about what are some positive solutions. There's no such thing as one silver bullet that's going to fix everything, but we understand that we all, regardless of what side of the fence you are, with all of these natural and unnatural wedges that's being put in the community, we all have to eat. And so the degree that we're able to come up with codified ways to produce this food, not only produce it, store it, and then distribute it to the people that need food. There's 90 million people in North America, so we know we'll never run out of people that need to eat in the melanated community. So we know, I think, 2 out of 5 households in the melanated community are food insecure, meaning that, okay, I don't know if I'm going to eat today. I don't know if I'm going to get my daily nutrition today. And so this is a very tangible goal for all of us to push towards. It's fine to have our disagreements in political in the political realm, but there's the one thing that we can't agree on is, regardless of what's going on, especially if you're going to fire all these people, if they say no, they're not meeting Jabinski, we can at least feed them. Because I thought all of this was about, we want to help our fellow man. We want to, what did your vice president say? The righteous thing to do is to look out for your neighbor. I don't have a doctorate degree. I'm pretty sure most of us don't, but we can feed one another. And there's multiple components. There's multiple niches within this process of getting food from the producer to the people that consume it. Believe it or not, family, so we done talked about Waka Flocka. He's actually gone into, okay, I want to learn how to farm. We think about brothers like Kwame Brown. He's on his tractor. He's whipping it up. Just by him talking about that is brought to people's mind. That has enlightened people that, okay, this is a lifestyle that people can take on. We think about Bootsy. He's talked about getting land. We think about Jay-Z. He's invested in plant-based chicken nuggets with Nugs. We think about people like Rick Ross, ag marketing. Okay, yeah, we have a shortage on chicken wings, so I'm gonna promote chicken thighs. We talk about RZA in the biodegradable jackets. We have a lot of brothers and sisters right now who are filling legitimate, real niches within agriculture, getting food from the ground to the people that eat it. Whether it's in different forms as a value-added product, whether it's as fiber that you wear, they're using their brands, they're using their niches, they're using whatever social capital they have to make this process happen. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to be Steph Curry to make this happen. I know this year in Lexington, so I taught more than 300 kids how to start a garden this year, and this is with literally no budget. This is just getting the materials, and we'll talk about that a little later maybe. It's getting the materials, meeting up with the teachers, working with some of these summer programs, and going in teaching. And in my mind, I'm like, man, if I had the social capital of a Steph Curry or just one of the hood stars in any random hood across America, how many more kids you can reach? Because the kids look to the hood stars. I don't know if it was you I was talking to. The streets got a much better marketing plan than those of us that say we care and really want to uplift our community. And so, how good, how codified, how dope would it be if we can really come up with a consolidated code of we just want to make sure people are eating, and you can hash your differences out after you've eaten, after we've educated you where you're at. We're bringing it to you. We have options, family, and we're in our finest hour.
And I just wanted to show everyone, this is what the bus looks like. This is the actual bus, the Eat, Learn, Play bus. You see, it does have a TV screen on the side. It's colorful. It comes up. They got speakers all over it, blasting music. It distributes the food on one side. On the other side, there's also, that's where they distribute the books to the kids, where they can actually take the books home with them to read. And there's also basketball goals. So it's a wonderful, absolutely wonderful, wonderful thing that Steph Curry and Ayesha Curry are embarking on. And it is something that can be replicated wherever you're at. And think about if we had a fleet of 1,000 of these buses. Just think about how many children can be fed. Think about how many children can be given books, how much promotion of literacy that can happen. Just think about how much information that can be given along with nutrition, feeding their mind, bodies, and souls, engaging with them, making sure that they feel important, making sure that they feel wanted, making sure that these kids feel somebody cares. It's a wonderful thing.
The entrepreneur in me, the rapper in me says, man, if something like this existed, back in the 90s, early 2000s, we was really in it like that. Okay, every hood got local rappers that will spend hundreds, thousands of dollars, trying to get something on the radio. Mobile cartoons, Freudian slip. Mobile concerts. For X amount of dollars, I'm gonna give you $500 so I can promote my new album. Right. One of the rules is you can't cuss because we're gonna have kids here. But with your contribution, you can get your label logo, on the bus, or have a slot for people's promo. Maybe there's companies that just want to promote their company, and so you pay for these slots. What do you do with this money you paid? This is how you pay these farmers up front, and not have them winging it. Right. So once again, it's practicing communal economics. We got to be innovative. We got to be creative. We're in our finest hour.
Well, everybody, here at B1AG, again, we're about agriculture and promoting healthy food. Don't forget to go check us out at healthyblackfood.com. We're a part of the Black Business School, and we will teach you how to grow your own food. This is a family activity. This is something great for kids. This is great for the elderly. We can bridge generational gaps, bring families together around the central theme of feeding each other and making sure that we all eat. This the ability to just go get food is being threatened. Now, that's why I love the bus that Steph and Ayesha Curry has, because if they say you can't go to the store, that's cool. We'll just bring the food to you. So we're coming up with ag solutions in real time. I hope our viewers can really see some of these. Maybe it sparks an idea or, whatever. I hope it just sparks an idea, a train of thought around we all got to eat, and finding better ways to do that, not only for ourselves, for our community. Farmer Brown. This was a great story, bro. But, if the people really, really want to know something, bro, what do they need to do?
If you really want to know something, let's plan, plot, and strategize and make the mobile food truck challenge a thing. If you really want to know something, let's learn how to grow something.
That's what it is. And not only grow it, find a way to get it to the people. Until we meet again, John Henry Harris. We got Farmer Brown, the MC. Let's get to growing. Y'all be blessed. It's the beginning of the work week. Let's make sure that we're good and fed to get through this week. Peace out.